All right, Nerd Jason coming at you with another review. This time for Andor, Disney Plus, Star Wars Andor Disney Plus series. Disney needs to do a better job of naming some of these shows and movies. Mandalorian and Grogu, Andor, Obi Wan. Kenobi, not Obi Wan, Kenobi. Star Wars Kenobi. These are not good names. They need to get a little more creative. Excuse me. But anyways, um, this is about the show Andor, starring Diego Luna. Um, And this is probably my favorite thing that Disney Star Wars has done. It didn't start off super great. This show was set up. It was 3 episodes a week for 3 weeks, so it's 9 episodes total. And I believe there's like a little time jump between each 3 episode block. Didn't start off super hot. Didn't start off great. It was a little disjointed. There was, you couldn't really tell what was going on. I was like, is this, with the farmers, is this like Rebel Moon? They throw in the essay, or the scene where someone is attacked. Bix gets SA'd, and she says, "Oh, he tried to me," and that they're trying to go for a more adult audience with this show, from what it seems like. But that's, I don't know if that needs to be thrown. I mean, the scene is not the scene, but just how she says it. Just she kind of emphasizes it, and I don't know if that has a place in Star Wars or not, and that kind of distracted from what other things that are going on. But anyways, the first 3 episodes were a little not my favorite. I started watching. I was like, all right, man, here we go again. Uh, the second 3 episode arc kind of started bringing things together, with Cyril and Andor himself. These kind of started interconnecting and leading to the culmination of the final 3 episodes, including the very final episode that leads right into Rogue One. Excuse me. But yeah. There's this planet that they created this planet, I guess, for this show called Gorman, and that's where a lot of this rebel activity is starting to hype up. They're trying to subjugate these people on this planet, and there's a resistance building, and there's a certain element or something that they want from this planet, which is why the Empire is there. That's why the Empire has such a big presence on this planet. Um, and the people are just kind of, they're building a resistance, and then you got Cyril, who kind of used as a pawn by the Empire's going to do what the Empire's going to do. I'm going to try to give very few spoilers here in my review, so I'm going to kind of tread a little lightly and a little vaguely. But you got Cyril and his girl. I don't think it's his wife. I don't know if it's his wife or not. The Empire lady. But anyways, it culminates with what happens, and what Cyril, does he know what's going on, or what's his uh, um, what's his part? What's his part of this plan? How invested is he, or what's going on? Does he know exactly what's going on? Why is he doing what he's doing? And like I said, the final 3 episodes is where I was like, damn, yeah, that was pretty good. Put some war back into Star Wars. There's no lightsabers, no Jedi in this show at all, which I didn't mind. It is, like I said, it is kind of built more for an adult audience, and like I said, I really did enjoy it after get through those first 3 episodes, and then it gets better in the second 3 episode arc, and then finally culminating in the last 5 second or last 3 episode arc, and that's where I was like, that I really liked it. Changes the story from the EU, which I'm actually a huge fan of the EU, and I like what they did in the EU too. But I mean, this is what we're getting now. Anyways, all in all, this is a very, very good show. Slow, kind of disjointed, kind of off-putting first 3 episodes, culminating in good middle episodes, and then very good last episode. So I do recommend this show. I would probably give this show, out of my 12 pack of beer um, rating system, I would probably give it like 3 beers. If just to get through those first 3 episodes. So yeah, 3 beers. I do recommend it. We'll see. I'm kind of at a point where I really don't care what's going on with Star Wars anymore. Well, Disney Star Wars, anyways. I still love the EU. I still love the OG trilogy. Prequels, hit or miss. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Andor. I do recommend it. It's probably the best thing Disney Star Wars has done. It is more adult oriented. It's kind of like a spy under workings, what's going on. The Empire does show that they are pretty evil. How they're manipulating things here on this Gorman planet to get what they want. And so, anyways, that's all I got for today. Watch the show if if you like Star Wars or not. I get it. You probably should be a Star Wars fan, depending on what kind of Star Wars fan you are. But I did like it. There's differing opinions out there, but watch it and form your own opinions on it. Until next time, Nerd Jason out.